Hello, it's Nikki. I want to show you this puzzle today. My son got it for Christmas and we did it together. And honestly, it was like one of the hardest puzzles I've ever done. It's circular, a lot of it makes no sense. And yeah, we all slightly lost the will to live, but I have kept it out as a reference because quite often when clients come to me, this is sort of how their picture looks like in terms of their ideas and thoughts and feelings. This is a world food one. So literally it's all these different pieces and they are trying to find a way to join them together. And at first, there doesn't feel like there's going to be a correlation. So sometimes people want help with their online presence, for example, and they have a portfolio career and they do various things. And there's a bit of worry around there because they're just thinking, well, I don't know if that fits together, or is that confusing, or do I have it all on one site, or what happens if I want to sell more than one thing? Do I need a group program? Should I do this one and what that? There's so many different questions. And as I look at this puzzle, I'm going to put it down now because it's going to shaking all over the shop. There's often a moment where they're in that state where they just can't quite see that the picture is ever going to connect and fit together and ultimately make sense. However, I am here to say and assure you that there will be a way to do this, because ultimately you are the common denominator of all of those things. And I think what we've seen previously in terms of business is, and certainly what I noticed when I was growing up, or like how our careers advisors prepared us for the professional work, it was very much of like stripping all of the parts of your personality, habits, traits, uniqueness, ways of learning, like just leave those at the door and then just go in with this very vanilla version of yourself. Like take away anything that is outside of the norm. And now what I feel is that we're in a great position where actually we can come in with all of our different layers and bring all of those things to the table. And this is a great place to be, but you do have to understand how to package yourself and how to know about this in a way and be able to deliver it. So there are certain conversations. So, okay, let me go back to the website. You might want to have all of the different skills and talents and things that you can offer, but it's who you are when you go into the room. So certainly in terms of being an actor, I've never shied away from the fact that I'm a parent, even though when I left drama school, there was very much this conversation. I mean, this was 20 years ago, but still, there was this conversation where you'd have to choose. You could do what you loved and become an actor, or you would give it all up and have children. And fortunately, I met somebody very, very early into my acting career who had two small children. I was like, yes, this makes sense. This is possible. And I also have never shied away from it because I think it's really important to discuss and to represent all kinds of different people. I want to hear about stories, not just about 19-year-olds, but people all of the way through, all different areas and pockets of society. And I actually did a talk when I was pregnant with my daughter at a company, and they were all super young, maybe 10, 15 years younger than me, and all very kind of fresh and bouncy and cool, really cool. And I went in on a really hot day and I felt so pregnant and so uncool and unfresh, even though I was clean and smelling nicely. But I wasn't feeling that. And part of me thought, well, I better like dial down the fact that I'm a mum and all the rest of it. And not that I would go in and impose that anyway, but it was really interesting just being there. I mean, I was so pregnant, you couldn't hide it anyway. But several of those women in that organization said, I'd love to have kids one day. And I feel like I've got loads of questions to ask you of what it's like and how it goes and how do you know when it's the right time. And we started having this conversation over lunch, and I just thought, it's so important to bring all of these nuances to our personal brand, to our work, because ultimately it makes the conversation richer and more interesting. And certainly post-COVID, I think that there is much more of an understanding now that people have other sides of them behind the scenes apart from working. And that was definitely apparent, when we saw all of those clips from the news where the guy was speaking and then the children came in, and then the wife or the housekeeper or the nanny, I'm not sure who the woman was, that she kind of came in and dragged them out. And it was almost as though the person they were talking to was like, oh, we didn't even know you had children before. So today, I want to invite you to look at your personal brand differently and think about the parts of yourself that you are hiding. I always talk about stories. They've always been a really key part of my content. And I don't just talk about stories of coaching clients. I take inspiration from everywhere. And that is so, so key for me, because I don't just want to be like everybody else. I don't just want to do like 3 things that you should be doing today, or this is my morning routine. I think 3 things is great sometimes. I will use that occasionally because it's really good for focus. But I also want to share the other stuff because I think it's more relatable, and I love an analogy as well. If you want to work on your online presence and get things like feeling like you online, and I know this is different because I know that sometimes we just want to follow like a LinkedIn expert who will say, you need to have your 3 paragraphs doing this. If that doesn't feel right to you, and if that doesn't resonate with your ideal client, there's no point doing that. The LinkedIn police are not going to come over and say, gosh, we'd really like to award you with a medal because you did this so well. We have a sense of being able to decide within our own portfolio careers how we do things. And you know what? When you lean into your version of this, that's when you bring a little bit of magic. There are 2 ways that you can do this. You can do your personal brand plan, or you can book a strategy session with me. Lots of love, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.